Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. It's the Audrey Wiggins Show.
Starring Audrey Wiggins. Executive producer, Altogether Marketing. Producer, Audrey Wiggins. Producer, Jerome Lee Brown.
Are you leaving money on the table? Let's join our panel already in session, talking about lessons they've learned over the years being in business of leaving money on the table and what they're doing about it today.
All right, so because I started off as a hobby and didn't know what the prices were, I left money on the table, several $100s on the table. So now I've upped my prices and I'm not leaving money on the table any longer. Because what I found out is that internet with Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Periscope, we broadcast live on all those networks simultaneously. So the money that I was getting was really cheap. So now that I upped my prices, I found out something, that people now respect my business more because I'm not cheap anymore. You know, I charge a premium and they pay the premium.
All right, Louise.
To me, leaving money on the table has to do with revenue streams. And I've found that a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand the difference between revenue streams and, as she spoke of, just throwing additional products out there to bring money into the business.
That's powerful.
And with revenue streams, you have to maximize the product or the service that you have first before you branch out into other products and services. And there are many different revenue streams, and you just have to sit down and decide which ones are going to work for you. I liken revenue streams to a stool. You've got three-legged stools and four-legged stools, but which one is sturdier? The four-legged one. So you want to have at least 4 revenue streams for your particular product or your service. I'll give you another example. In Genesis, the Bible says there were 4 rivers that flowed into the Garden of Eden and totally watered the garden. So again, 4 revenue streams for your product or service will give you a steady business. And just let me throw out some examples of what a revenue stream is. If I'm doing marketing a chocolate cake, then one of my revenue streams can be affiliate marketing. I'm going to use a mixer and things like that. Well, if I'm using a KitchenAid mixer, I can get KitchenAid to pay me, get into a contract with them for every one of the people or the ones I sell. Absolutely. That people buy. You can do cooking classes online. That's another revenue stream. But I'm sticking with that chocolate cake before I move on to bagels and donuts and things like that.
Absolutely.
Very good.
One of the most fundamental parts of doing business on the web is keeping your customers' information safe. Fear of hacking and other security breaches still makes a lot of people jittery about disclosing their credit card numbers and other private information online, like their home address and telephone number. And if they suspect that it could be compromised when they make a transaction on your site, they're going to take their business elsewhere. That's why you need an SSL certificate for your website.
Thanks, Louise. Iris.
I would have to talk about. You're so sweet. I would have to talk about instructional technology in a way that it is always changing. So in the business that I work in, I have to remember that technology is always changing. So there's always new ways to make money, especially online, using the internet. There is not a reason for a business to go under because there are many ways to make money when you're working in instructional technology.
And I've always been told, because I'm kind of like this jack of all trades, and which is really, to me, is, not leaving on the table, or the multiple streams of income, and, expanding on, what you're doing and charging the right things. If you're doing too many things, I would never listen. When people say that, I'm like, tune out. But the key, though, is goes back to what Louise said when you're talking about baking the cake. Everything has to be relevant in some type of way. So for me, being a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, you have all these things going. I think they're good, but but we also need help to do that. So sometimes I find that I've left money on the table because I didn't bring in help soon enough, or not at all. So when you think about being in digital marketing, and when I started this business, it wasn't any digital marketing, just to give that little tidbit away. But I'm excited. I've always been an early adopter in like technology, and I'm just kind of nerdy and just go forward, and use different things. But I've always would look at the client. Okay, so what else could they use? And what's stuff in my business. So when I started my business, I was working full time. So the first couple of years, so pretty much was at my base, designing flyers, program booklets. So basically, graphic design and printing was my business. So then when I branched out, I added ad specialty. So that was another stream of income, because that was still marketing and branding a company, individual group, or church, or wherever that client was. And as technology kept growing, or kept coming more available, so websites, so marketing, so that's another stream. And to build on the mixer and stuff like that, because I like that example of, if I'm going to design websites, why should I send the client to XYZ domains when I can offer the domain, this web security, the whole kit and caboodle that they would need to have a legal and profitable place online to do business. So then I would add those things on. But the longer we're in business, we know things, we learn things about business, not just the products and services that we offer. We learn like the real how-tos. And what has come to me in the last couple of years is the knowledge of the thing becomes more valuable than doing the thing, if you understand what I'm saying. So knowing how to market. So not that I'll stop marketing, but instead of promoting marketing, let me show you how to do it as well. And so then that begins another stream, and then that just keeps my business going all over, the world, so to speak, because my knowledge is almost like leaving a legacy, even though it's a business, product.
Well, one of the things that's really important in marketing your business and not leaving money on the table is, who is your ideal client? Because when I started off, I'd take everybody and their mama. I'm trying to make the money, right? But as I started to do that, I started to learn who I wanted to do business with and who I didn't want to do business with. It's really important, because your ideal client, as Audrey knows, my mantra is real simple. I want them to pay my money on time. I want them to have good content, and I want them to be a Christian. Those three attributes.
Yes.
And those are my ideal clients. Now, do I allow some variance in that? Absolutely. But most of the time I found out that those are my three major things.
And if you stick to that.
If I stick to that, I get the idea, my station is running great, people are watching it, people are listening to it, and I'm getting my money.
Right.
I ain't leaving no money on the table.
All right. I should have some dollars on the table.
Yeah, you should have some money. Give me all mine.
No, I agree with that. And just to like piggyback off of that too, like the marketing field, Audrey, as I'm sure you know, it's pretty saturated. There's so many people out here who swear that they do marketing, and I struggle with this. It's a bit of an insult sometimes, because I actually did get a degree in it, and I have like legit experience throughout my entire career. But then you have other people who have no history, and then all of a sudden they're selling
an expert.
And so they're branding themselves. And some of them do better at me as far as the social media and branding, but it's like it's all fluff though at the end of the day. But just in general, for me, knowing that, I had to make sure that I really separated myself, you know. And so I'd say probably in the first year of my business, I decided, like you said, like what clients I wanted to work with, what they look like. And, you know, so when a lot of people were coming to me wanting to do things, I'm sitting up here thinking like, I'm not thirsty enough to work with you, you know. Like, I mean, I had that mentality very early on. Like, I will still work a part-time job somewhere else, or hustle, or Uber, or do whatever I have to do before I work with people that aren't my cup of tea. I'm not about to just be out here designing flowers for every hair salon and club, and you know, which a lot of sometimes that is how you break in and get your experience. And no offense to the people who start that way, but I knew that's not them. That's not the clientele. That's not the type of work I want to do. And I have done some, and some people have been great. I'm not sitting up here saying that they aren't good clientele. It's just not what I wanted to do.
Exactly.
And so very early on, I'm just like, no, I'm going to stick to what I want. I'm going to network with who I want. And now, going on 4 years in my business, I can say that every client I have either hand selected or they have been by referral. I have not done any kind of you come to me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. It's in business. It's always nice to have a pool of clients that you can actually schedule those clients and schedule them for a consistent amount of time. So if you have a pool of clients, set out your calendar, make a schedule, contact those clients, make sure that they continue to receive services from your business. It will make your business grow, and you will continue to have revenue.
Absolutely.
That's a good point.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. You go.
That's a good point too. Because now that you say that, I feel like maybe I have left money on the table in that regard. So tomorrow I'm throwing a busy business brunch where literally I made that up. Okay, it don't exist. I totally made it up.
Okay.
But basically that's what I called it. I sent all my friends a text message like, hey, I'm throwing a busy business brunch. I got about 400 business cards that need to be put into a database. Can y'all all come help? I'm providing brunch and booze.
Okay.
Literally. That's what I told them. So now I got 5 friends coming tomorrow to just help me put all these contacts so that I can keep in touch with these people.
Yes. And when you're going to do that, you're going to get your email marketing platform set
Yeah.
up. So
Exactly.
Because I swear, every time I would go to this annual leadership group, this one organization, KO, give them a shout out, would have, with this goal, right? I gotta get my newsletter done. And it was so embarrassing. And one time the girl said, Audrey, you still trying to work on your newsletter? And I looked back this year, so I had a pattern. I'm like, okay, so I didn't feel so bad. I was doing it every 6 months. I said, okay, now let's tighten that up. So then it really needs to be monthly. And sometimes I think we overthink things. We have to put so much in it, but it's simple. Yeah. They have a tip, give away some information and knowledge from your expertise. I said, okay, I'm gonna highlight a client every month. I chose somebody, they didn't know they were gonna be in it. I'm like, okay, you're in this newsletter, this month. And if you have some specials or services that you want to promote, add that in there. But so basically those 3 things, thank you, welcome, have a message, a tip, promote, educate, and promote again. So you're promoting somebody else, and make sure that you get it out. All right, so we're back on our conversation of not leaving money on the table. Monetize. All right, Louise, in your introduction, you're starting to give some examples of things that we can do within our business to, you talked about multiple streams of income.
Correct, revenue streams.
Yes, revenue streams.
Okay, so another example is that you can do a e-course online where people can sign up and go and take your course. You can either do it taped or you could do it live, whichever is going to benefit your audience and your ideal client. You can also hold a event once a year that you have a conference that you invite all of the people to that are maybe subscribers or your clients. Maybe you do a membership site. There are lots of ways to maximize that revenue stream. And then when you get it to the point where it is flowing, then you can branch out and do another product and do the same thing for it. 4 revenue streams. They can be different ones, they can be the same ones, depending on what type of service or product that you're offering.
Okay, and I was so excited that you said that you mentioned the e-course. All of us are kind of in that the area. And full disclosure of leaving money on the table to the tune of 10 years for my very first e-course, and I believe